Yes.
And of course, I can also modify my own camera in terms of zooming in or zooming out.
Yes.
Actually, the idea behind telepresence is to have those more or less in a natural size. That means, so if we are only two persons sitting in front of the system,
Yes.
of course it makes sense to have each other more or less centered in the middle of our screen. And I think it probably makes sense that we then switch the position. That means you go to the system where I sit in a moment, and I go to the other side to give you the impression of these two different kind of telepresence solutions. The system that you see right now is the very large one, the so-called T11, because of the 70-inch screen that is behind this glass construction, behind this optical construction in front of you. And the system I'm using here in the other room of our office is a so-called TPT52 machine because of a 52-inch screen. So actually, your system can be used for 5 persons sitting around the table, and if necessary, there could be a second row behind that, and so there could be 10 persons sitting in this conference scenario. And the machine that I'm using here in the other room is thought to be used for maximum of 3 or maybe 5 persons, but actually the perfect telepresence you get when you use 3 persons maximum on my side and 5 persons maximum on your side. So it's a question of how many people you want to have interacting in that way. And the good thing is, which is probably the most important about telepresence as we understand it, that when I look into your face on my screen, I actually look into your eyes. That means we really have our real eye contact through this telepresence solution. Because this real eye contact is the difference between this kind of telepresence systems and every other product on the market, because all of them have the camera either above the screen or under the screen. So actually, if we would be in a telepresence as the other ones see it, I would be looking into a screen, and you would always have the feeling that I look down beside of you or above you, depending on where the camera is. And the good thing is that the optical way of the camera now is exactly the same as it is from the screen behind it.
I see.
So if there would be more of you, I could look at you, I can also look at the one at this side, and I could also look at the one at that side. And because of the dark background behind me, you also get a kind of dimensional feeling. That means when I move here, and also if I move my chair backward, and if I just act as we do it when we are in a conference, if I have a coffee here and I drink the coffee, to a certain point, you really tend to forget that this is a video conference.
So let's now talk a little about the financial part of this technology. Now, how would it be for companies, for example, like Solkov, that once they want to invest into this way of communication, whether throughout Europe or further on to other continents also, this can save them, I think, on their unnecessary traveling expenses. Am I right? Can you also tell us some about that benefit of this technology that now is available? I mean, aside from the security measures in all ports that now is for people taking more time, or the security talks here and there, financial part of it is also a part of it, that once companies have to travel and pay for it, or when they can also bring their meeting through using teleportal. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Definitely, it makes sense to talk about how much you can save on travel. But let me first start to give you a short overview of what is technically going on, because this is somehow necessary to understand why it saves cost at the end.
Yes.
Historically seen,